You're watching BATV, bringing Brookline home.
Hello, I'm Karma Kitai, and I'm your host for Alivelihood, New Adventures as We Age. Today I'm going to introduce you to two women, Felice Shapiro and Ronna Benjamin, who have launched an online magazine called Better After 50, and they are also about to tell us about a new program that is coming up in March. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thanks, Karma.
I'm glad you're here. So where shall we start? I know that each of you have been involved in other things in your lives before you launched your magazine, right? So, and you're the official person who started all this, huh?
She is.
So Felice, tell us, how did it come to your mind to even do this?
So I would say that I've been an entrepreneur my whole working life, and my first venture was in print publishing. So the idea of Better After 50 was an outgrowth of where I'd come from in terms of loving the publishing world. And my first venture into publishing was in parenting magazines, so very, very niche publishing focused, dealing specifically with parenting and resources on a regional level. So we had New York Family and Westchester Family, and very much like here, there's the Boston Parents paper. We were the regional group in the New York, Westchester, and Connecticut area, and we grew those magazines. My partner and I at the time grew the business over 14 years. There ended up being 25 employees, and we sold it to a group out of London. It was a great thing for us and for great experience. The journey along the way and the finish and the exit were all thrilling.
So you had a real success with that. It was financially, you're saying?
Yeah, it worked out. It did work out well, and we got a print when we needed. We were lucky that we got out then. So I was kind of thinking I would love to get back into publishing at some point, and that some point came quite a bit later. So Better After 50 became an opportunity when I started. I was teaching at Tufts University, and I was teaching students about launching businesses. And I was noticing that my story was a little old because I'd been 10 years since I'd sold the magazines. And I wanted to be a little more relevant, and I felt like my story was over. That particular story was over, and I wanted to get back into it. I felt very excited about taking a next step, and since I am my market, and now I was at midlife and crossing that threshold to 50, I began to look around to see what else was out there, and realizing there was nothing I wanted to read that was edgy and fun and made me feel like it was a community that I wanted to be part of. And so I thought, hey, this is an opportunity. There's nothing really that for me to read, so maybe I could create something.
Right. Yeah. So what is it, a big learning curve for you?
Huge. Huge.
What did you have to learn about?
Well, online publishing is very, very different than print publishing. And so I really needed to get comfortable with the whole online piece. Not that I hadn't been living online for quite a while. But in terms of publishing online, WordPress became the perfect technical tool to leap into the publishing world with. And so once I understood what WordPress was, I hired a web designer, and the two of us worked together for a couple months until we came out with the first prototype of what Better After 50 would look like, which was an aggregation of real stories by real women about this phase. And I had barely pressed the go button when I met my partner, Ronna.
Yeah, so that was right at the very beginning of the
Very
magazine.
beginning, very beginning, yeah.
Right,
The
and
launch was
how-
in November 2011, yeah.
And how did that happen that you met?
Well, I've been talking for a bit. Ronna, you want to tell the story?
Sure. So let me go back to my background a little bit. And while Felice was doing her print magazine and going through her yoga training and all the things that she was doing, I was a real estate attorney. And so I went we actually went to the same high school, but didn't realize that until well after we had met. And and I went to college and then right to law school without any pause in between, and I became a real estate lawyer. I worked for a big firm downtown for a while, and then started with my family's real estate business as in-house counsel. And I was doing it for 29 years, close to 30 years. And for the last 10 years...
Loving every minute of it.
Yeah, loving every minute. For the last 10 years or so, I really didn't love it. In fact, I would go beyond that to say, I couldn't stand it. At least for the last few years, I couldn't stand it. I was just done. And I kept saying to myself, if I find something else that I love, I'm going to jump at it. But I didn't know what else I wanted to do. And I tried out a number of different things. I tried growing, I was just telling Felice, I tried growing orchids and killed them all, and I tried baking meringue cookies, thinking I would sell them, but I had a yellow lab at the time, and they would end up with yellow lab hair in the meringue cookies, so that those were not going to sell very well. And I didn't know, I didn't have a passion, actually, of something I really wanted to do. So, and I was going through menopause, and I was up at night, and I started to write. And I found I loved it. I shared it with a few friends, and I made them laugh. And that gave me a little good feedback, and so I started to write some more. And I found I really loved it. And I started another little blog, didn't have any kind of a following, didn't promote it at all, but I needed someplace to put my writing. And then one day I get an email from a mutual friend of ours.
Which was the day after the launch.
The day after exactly.
I mean, this friend had come to the launch party where there were 10 people. We called it a posting party. Sorry, Ronna, just for a second. And she sent out an email right at this woman, Barb, who lives here in Boston, amazing. She just sent out an email to all her friends that night and said, oh, this woman started this amazing online magazine.
Check it out.
Check it out.
And normally, I think I checked it out in the middle of the night when I was up writing. And I looked at this email, and I just said, clicked on, and I saw Better After 50, and I read a few of the articles, and I said...
And you were over 50 by then, too.
I was, yeah. Just, not too much, but yeah. I was over 50, and I clicked on it, and I said, this is amazing. I have to write for this magazine because they're looking for submissions. It said on the bottom, if you'd like to submit something, we're happy, we'd love to see it. And
we would love to see it. Me and all my person. We would all love to see it.
the royal we. And so I submitted a few things, and within hours, I think, I get a phone call from Felice to say, I love your writing. You made me laugh and you made me cry, and we have to meet. And so we met at a little diner in Watertown, and that's when we actually learned that we went to the same high school. And
was that around here?
Yeah, it was Beaver Country Day. So we both went to Beaver.
Chestnut Hill,
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yes.
They had a great English department.
Apparently.
True, true. Yeah.
And
Both
we
became
sort of
good writers then.
Well,
Yeah.
we fell in love, and I didn't know I was a good writer. I didn't even know I could write until, people started telling me it was good.
So you were discovered.
She's my discoverer.
I discovered Ronna, and the rest, and now the world has discovered Ronna. I don't know. I was lucky. I think nothing. I don't believe in coincidences anyway. So Ronna's piece showed up. It was perfect. We met.
We clicked.
It was all just, we opened to it. It happened, and we went with it. And so we operated pretty much side by side. She said, well, what can I do for you? What can I do for the magazine? I said, I have no idea, but just keep showing up, and
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And there was no talk about being a partner or any of that. We'll just
started
do it.
doing it. I just kept showing up more and more.
Ronna kept showing up, and I was thrilled.
Do you want to do this? I have no idea, but okay, I'll give it a try.
And by this time, had you left your law practice?
I left my law practice, I think, within, when I became a partner, I would say. So maybe, 8 months in or so. I kept doing more and more and loving it. And I finally did not renew my legal liability insurance. And that made it easy for me to say, I'm not doing this anymore.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know.
I kept saying, that's it. I'm not doing any more legal work. And now I can say no to it because I have an excuse.
So we feel like we're the we talk a lot about she did it's at Better After 50, women who are taking that next step and going, yay, I did it, crossing the threshold into the what's next, and we feel like both of our stories are we're walking the walk, talking the talk, because so much of Better After 50 is really receiving these amazing articles, blogs written by women who are taking their next steps and talking about either launching businesses or hiking, doing these amazing hikes, incredible travel adventures, or
losing weight, or getting healthy, or so many ways you
major
can do
shifts.
it.
And we call those she did it's. And so Ronna's definitely a she did it, and my jumping off the cliff to start Better After 50 alone. I actually had thought I'm never going to start a business without a partner, but I did start a business without a partner, and then voila, Ronna showed up. So thank you. But anyway,
it was sort of all about taking baby steps. So Felice is more a believer in it was meant to happen, and it was serendipity, and everything happens sort of for a reason, and it was just saying yes to a bunch of things that came across my world. And she asked me and supported me in everything I was doing. And we've learned a lot together.
I didn't financially support her.
No. That would have been very nice.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the topics in the magazine. So what are the things that women over 50 want to hear about, do you think?
Well, if you go to like a wine bar or hang out at Starbucks and listen to a group of women talking, those are the topics. We feel like we're actually doing that on the site. We're extracting that slice of life from a coffee shop or from a wine bar or at a restaurant or hiking on a trail on a women's retreat. And those topics that come up are our topics. And they range from...
Oh, boy.
We're not going to give them all away. But actually, we do. We kind of go way out of the box with our topics. To the
That's
point where
the edgy
it's a little
part,
bit edgy,
right?
yeah.
So-
BA can stand for Better After, or it could stand for Badass 50. We're not afraid.
Yeah.
We're not afraid to
Or
take on
shy.
topics or shy.
So it could be anything from politics to whether women over 50 are getting Brazilian waxes.
Okay.
or we could talk about. We had a really popular article that is out this week about 50-year-old women and they're dealing with 25-year-old men, and I'm not going to give it away, but anyway, that title alone was like click, 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 Now those
I mean,
relate.
you had a lot of hits.
We had a
for
lot
that.
of hits. Yeah, we had a lot of hits on that one. And
I
we
guess
have
that's
a lot. Of, yeah.
a lot of women's fantasy then, huh?
Yeah. Well.
Some.
So that was a good piece. The hot topics are always going to be around body, self-improvement. Those are very. I mean, when you go to the grocery store and you see the same articles all the time on the magazines, and you're thinking, really, are they still? People are still buying like how to lose the 10 pounds and how to, and how to look younger and how to deal with your wrinkles and how do you bring fire back into the bedroom. I mean, those topics are our topics as well. We are not a celebrity online magazine. We are real people talking about our real stories. So they're so relatable that we're really listening to each other. So people are clicking the day they come out, and then they're clicking when they Google and look for a topic on
Letting your hair go gray, or boy, there's so many. We have a menopause expert. We have a sex expert, a sex over 50 expert. We have an ex expert, so somebody who gives advice about about dealing with an ex-spouse. We have a dating expert for women who are single again at this age for whatever reason.
We have a fashion newsletter that we put out on Fridays. And in order to get those newsletters, you do have to go on to betterafter50.com and put your email in to join the movement, we call it. It's free, but
To subscribe.
yeah, and that's really important to us because otherwise we can't really get you the information. You just have to remember to click on it. So maybe you will. I don't know, but we'd sure like to be able to know who our readers are.
Yeah. And so my understanding is that you each write.
We do. So my commitment has been, and before I started Better After 50, I actually hired a coach here in Boston to take on a really big goal. I call them badass goals, and I just wrote about some badass goals for 2014. But mine was before I launched the magazine or even thought it was even possible, I decided to run the Boston Marathon, and I had no business doing that. So I hired, and that was the April of 2011. And I hired a coach here, Kathy Utschneider, who is,
She's
you know
speaking.
her?
Heard about her.
She's amazing. And
She's speaking
So,
at our event.
a running coach.
she's speaking at our event in March.
Well, she's a goals coach, so she's not just a running coach. She has a method for actually reaching any goal that you have.
She's amazing.
Whether it's
There
maybe
was
it's-
actually someone else on the show here who I guess worked with her in the same way.
Yeah,
and,
Kathy.
and
kidding.
ran.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you don't get the medal if it's over 6 hours, if you run it for 6 hours. So I just want to say I did get the medal. I mean, I was really worried about getting that medal, but I got it at the end of the run. So
Wow.
I did it. And then it was, okay, now what? Okay, I could do anything, really. If I could do that, I could just do anything. I
And
felt
you
that
hadn't
way.
really been a long-distance runner before?
I had run a half marathon to train for this, and once or twice, and I was shocked that I did that. But a whole marathon was not anything I really had on my sight line. So that was just, whew, I'm really going out there.
And I want to make it clear that I am not going to run a marathon.
And I'm not running another one. I'm done with that. Check, off the list. That's off the list.
Right. So that was a goal that you had, I guess, just to challenge yourself, right?
Yeah, and we are all about that for setting goals.
And about
challenging.
challenging
Yeah.
Well, we're
yourself.
challenging ourselves every day because every day we're learning, and
So in
there's
answer
so
to
much
you-
new.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
In answer to your question, Kathy said, I said to Kathy, I want to launch this magazine, and she said, okay, so what are the goals you want to set? And we started talking about it. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to write 100 blogs over the summer.
Posts.
That summer, which meant a lot of writing, and I hadn't been writing. And I thought, if I can do that, not that I was going to provide all the content for whatever BA50 was going to be, but I thought, if I can commit to it, then I can really bring other people into it. So anyway, I did that, and the thing is that I've written every single week except for 1 week when I had a personal thing with in our family, and anyway, so I didn't write that 1 week. But other than that, I've written every week since we launched,
And
and
I think I took a week off.
I don't think so. Did you really? I don't know.
Maybe. But yeah, and I write something humorous, or at least I try and be humorous. So I think part of the goal of each week is to have something that's going to hit somebody emotionally, and something that's going to make them laugh, at least. So you laugh, you cry, and it's just like having a nice, wonderful, meaningful coffee with a friend.
Yeah. Now, do either of you have a post that you would like to share? Just the story? Anything come to your mind?
Why don't you
Wow.
start?
So I just wrote something that kind of went viral a little bit on the 33 mistakes that all women make over 50. And it's funny. It's written, all my stuff is written sort of
Did you
tongue-in-cheek.
know it was going to be 33 when you started?
No. Well, it started out by, I looked at, I was on Facebook, and a 30-year-old, a woman who was 30 years old, that's the daughter of my friend, just posted an article that was in Cosmo that was the 20 mistakes that all women make in their 20s. And I read them and I went, oh, I still make at least half of those mistakes. We really haven't learned. We still don't get enough sleep. We're still, I'm still addicted to social media. The only thing one of the ones I didn't do was, get a cockapoo with my boyfriend. So we've grown a little bit, but I was amazed that I hadn't
The only
learned
reason
that
she
much.
didn't do that is because she has a husband and
Yeah.
not a boyfriend. Otherwise, she might have.
Well, I got a yellow lab. We got a yellow
Didn't
lab.
like a cockapoo.
So I took the ones of those mistakes that I was still making, and then I added to them, and I got a lot of friends to give me input. And so I got so many, it was so much fun because I got so many comments from
So a lot of people
from-
could really relate to your
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
of all the mistakes.
Yeah, so really fun.
Yeah. And any that you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, so my brain is a little bit like LIFO, last in, first out. So I could tell you the last one, it had to be in the last month. So the badass goals for 2014 were really very typical of my kind of writing because I talk about reinvention a lot and just how to stay motivated, get motivated, and so just challenging myself again and looking at this next place and how a bunch of friends and I were together looking at our goals and our New Year's resolutions and how we fail at most of them and what's going to be different this time around. And so I love that piece. People are clicking on. They clicked on it when it came out and they keep clicking on it because I think everybody wants to challenge themselves that way. So I think it's one that's good. We also had a new writer who came on the site this week. We talked about our experts. We had a new writer who came on this week, and she is a BA 50. That's the age we're talking about, and also the attitude. And she wrote about when she gets up and looks in the mirror, what she's dealing with, and it's very relatable. And she has her own personal social media following, which is great for us when we take on writers because they can also spread the word. And her article went
really well.
crazy. I mean, it was really fantastic. Linda Reifberg did a great job with that one. So that was a brand new writer. So new writers or experts or us, I mean, it's incredible how much these articles get looked at, not just the day they come out, but over and over and over again. So it's really rewarding for the writers.
Yeah.
Really great.
That must make you
Yeah.
both feel so gratified.
It is.
Oh,
yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. It's
So
great
in
feedback.
the last few minutes that we have here, let's talk about the upcoming She Did It
Yeah.
program.
Okay.
Love
What-
to, because we're
what's
very
gonna
excited.
happen?
Why don't you're so good at talking about it. So I'm going to give that to you at least to start.
So She Did It. She Did It is an event that we created And our first one was in Boston in November of 2012. And we were amazed that it sold out. We had 250 women come. And the event was dedicated to women taking their next step. And it was a lot happened at the event in one big room. And there was a group exercise and people were networking, and that was great. And we took that event and brought it to New York and changed it a little bit and broke out into some workshops. A little bit, big room, and then broke out into some workshops. People liked that, and they kept saying more workshops.
We want more workshops.
So this next event on March 24th, for anybody who's been to the Boston event, they should, and they think this is still a topic that's interesting to them. This will be very different from the last one. We have 4 workshops in the morning that are dedicated to your work in terms of what is your next step in terms of work. Everything from getting a job to making a living in a difference, meaning giving back or finding some kind of social entrepreneurial work you might want to do and make a living at the same time, to I don't even know what I want to do. All led by professionals.
Right, and that's what we were thinking of when we did our first event, was there were so many people like us that kept saying, I would do something, but I don't know what I want to do.
Right. So we have a couple coaches leading that particular workshop, and if people go on to shedidit.com, they will see the agenda, and they will see
It's a little synopsis of what each workshop is about.
yeah. And if people go on right away after they see this, I don't know when this is going to air, but there's discounts and things to get into this event. Anyway, they should sign up right away.
But you didn't tell about the afternoon.
Oh, the afternoon. So the afternoon is dedicated to mind-body. And we have 4 workshops in the afternoon. Everything from a mindfulness stress reduction workshop led by a BA 50 who was a professional worker in the regular work world who became a Buddhist monk here in Boston. She teaches meditation. She's amazing. And that'll happen.
What's her name, Felice?
Sonata. And I can't pronounce the last name without reading it. Sorry, Sonata. And then we have another
Kathy Utschneider.
Kathy Utschneider, who my running
You
coach,
just mentioned, yeah.
fantastic on goal setting. We have Doreen Dove, who's going to lead a workshop on how you look, how to dress at this next. What do you want to look like at this next phase? What kind of look do you want to have? And that'll be great. And then our other workshop is by a woman, Lisa Luton, and she has somebody else she's doing it with us as well.
Laurie Brownstein.
Laurie Brownstein, and their workshop is about eating for energy. So it's not like, okay, you got to lose 5 pounds. It's like, how can we keep this energy level going? You know, how are we feeding ourselves and exercising our whole being for, yeah. We have a little gift for you, so you have to tell us when we're almost done.
We are almost done.
Oh, okay. So we came up with these BA 50 girlfriend bars, and so you, Karma, dark chocolate with sea salt.
Because everyone knows that dark chocolate is healthy.
That's right. And I love sea salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what we call our
Thank
BA
you so
50
much.
girlfriend bar, and welcome to the BA
Thank
50
you.
community.
Wow.
And it is about, we are a community, and
Right.
that's how we like to
Yeah.
see ourselves, and I think that's how other people do see us.
Yeah. And as you've told me, this, all that you do has to do with possibility for women as they reach the middle to older years. Huh?
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
That word
that's-
possibilities is like, it makes you stand up a whole lot taller. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
This has
And
been fun.
I hope you have a wonderful program with She Did It.
Well,
We
thank
hope
you.
to. Yeah, thank you.
We're excited about it. Thank you.
Okay, so join me next time when I will have a new guest for you on A Livelihood, New Adventures as We Age.